This video is about how to divide fractions by whole numbers. Beg your pardon. Just as multiplication is all about finding multiple groups of a number, division is about making groups, so it's the opposite operation. There are two things we can do in division. We can either find out how many groups we can make, or if we know how many groups we want, we can find out how big those groups will be. That's the same for whole numbers and for fractions. The example we're going to start with is 2/3 divided by 4. Pointer out. And there are two things I can work out. I can either say how many groups of 4 can I make out of 2/3, or if I want to make 4 groups, how big will each group be? Here's my model. I've got the 3/3 here. I've shaded in 2/3, and this model will need to be split into 4 parts. To do this, I've divided each third into 4 pieces. So you can see that instead of having thirds, that's now been multiplied by 4 because there are 4 parts in each one, and 3 times 4 is 12. So I've now got 12ths. Because I had 2/3 shaded in, and they've now each got 4 times as many parts, 2 times 4 is 8. So 2/3 equals 8/12. It's an equivalent fraction. What we've done is we've used the divisor to make an equivalent fraction by multiplying each part of the fraction by the divisor. So now I've got 8/12 divided by 4. Just as 8 divided by 4 is 2, 8/12 divided by 4 is 2/12. I can then, of course, simplify this answer. 2 and 12 have a common factor of 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So the answer to 2/3 divided by 4 in its simplest terms is 1/6. There is another way I can look at this, though. This is the second method. So I've got my 2/3 and I can divide it into 4 groups. But I know that if I'm dividing something by 4, each of these groups is 1/4 of the 2/3. So I can actually do this as a multiplication. And I can say, instead of doing 2/3 divided by 4, I'm going to find 1/4 of 2/3. And I can simply proceed for multiplying a fraction normally. I'm going to cancel down the 2 and the 4 with the common factor 2. So 2 becomes 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. Here's my answer already in its simplest terms. To recap each method. The first method is I take my 2/3 divided by 4. I need an equivalent fraction where I know that both parts are divisible by the divisor, and I do that by multiplying each part by the divisor. 2 times 4 is 8, 3 times 4 is 12. My equivalent fraction for 2/3 is 8/12. 8/12 divided by 4, 8 divided by 4 is 2, so 8/12 divided by 4 is 2/12, simplified to 1/6. The second method is to treat dividing by 4 the same as finding 1/4, which it is, cancel down, and then multiply across. 1 multiplied by 1 is 1, 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. Answer already in its simplest terms. Let's look at some more examples. 3/5 divided by 6. So method 1, I multiply each part by the divisor to make an equivalent fraction. So 5 multiplied by 6 is 30, 3 multiplied by 6 is 18. Here's my equivalent fraction. 18/30 divided by 6 is 3/30. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 3/30 simplifies down to 1/10. Method 2, dividing by 6 is equivalent to finding 1/6. Cancel down the 3 and the 6. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, 6 divided by 3 is 2, 1 multiplied by 1 is 1, 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. Answer already in its simplest terms. Last example, 7/9 divided by 5. I want an equivalent fraction, which is where both parts are divisible by 5. So I multiply both parts by 5. So 7 multiplied by 5 is 35. 9 multiplied by 5 is 45. 35 over 45 divided by 5. 35 divided by 5 is 7. So 35 over 45 divided by 5 is 7 over 45. Or the second method, dividing by 5 is the same as finding 1/5. There is no opportunity to cancel down here. None of these numbers have common factors. So 7 multiplied by 1 is 7. 9 multiplied by 5 is 45. Again, this answer cannot be simplified. It's already in its simplest terms.